What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday? It's Tuesday, right? Um, we are back in the kitchen and we're going to go a little leaner and meaner tonight. So, last night I was watching There Will Be Blood. It's on Netflix. If you've never seen it, it's awesome. It's one of the three roles for which Daniel Day-Lewis won the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role. And he plays this oil tycoon. And in a lot of the scenes, they're just like, I don't know, having like steak and whiskey. And that sounded pretty good to me. So that's what we're going to do tonight with a little bit of potatoes. So what I'm going to do is do the potatoes pretty much the way I did last week with that kielbasa dish. I'm just going to dice them up, or I've already diced them up. And I'm going to throw them in the oven at about 410 for about 45 minutes. I'm only going to season them with some salt, pepper, and rosemary because the star of the dish is the steak. I'm going to do the steak on the cast iron skillet at like a really high heat, and it's going to be charred, and it's going to be good. And the last time I did this, I set the fire alarm off, but the steak was excellent. So first things first, I'm going to do the potatoes. The oven just let me know it's ready to go. So again, salt, pepper, rosemary. So if you've ever had fresh rosemary, it comes in this little sprigs like this. So an easy thing to do when you want to get them into your bowl, you just kind of hold it with one hand and kind of scrape them down with the other. And that's it. And then they're in your dish and you're good to go. So I'm just going to break this up a little bit, and then I'm going to toss this with some olive oil and throw this in the oven again for about 45 minutes. So the good thing about this meal is it's a lot of just sitting around, just waiting. I'll come back and show you how I do the steak. It is, again, a high heat, pretty quick, and it's going to be about, I'd say, 2 minutes, 45 seconds aside. And it's a good prime Delmonico. It's about 12 ounces, so it's going to be good. So I'm going to throw these potatoes in the oven, and we will be back in a little while to finish this thing off. So again, my inspiration was Daniel Day-Lewis. You ever see that milkshake scene at the end when he's like, "I drink your milkshake. I drink it up." I'm getting a little stir crazy. Sorry. See ya. All right, we're back, and before I go on, thank you for indulging me in my hackneyed Daniel Plainview impression. You know, we're going nuts here. So, first things first, you want to get your steak just about room temperature before you put it in the skillet. It just cooks better that way. So, for something like this, when you're doing potatoes for about 45 minutes, just take the steak out at the same time. I got the skillet going really hot. I got my fan on high, and if it gets even hotter, I got my Honeywell fan to blow some of the steam out. So if you want to make sure your pan's hot enough, you can get a little bit of water and just drop it in there, and if it evaporates, like this is, you know we're ready to go. So you can season the steak however you'd like. When it's something like this, I try to keep it pretty simple, so I just got salt and pepper. So I'm going to do it about 2.5 minutes aside because the pan is so hot. It's about at like an 8 on my stove reading, and you want to get a sear on it, but not overcook it. So I like mine more medium rare to medium. So the other thing, when you're doing this, after you cook the steak, you want to let it rest for a couple minutes before you cut it. So I would say when you're timing this out, get your steak to be done when there's about 3-4 minutes left in your potatoes. That way it's rested properly and all your food's ready to go at the same time. So we'll be back in a minute to show you the finished product. See ya. Oh man, I totally set off the smoke detector, which can happen because this thing gets super hot. I don't know if you can see the smoke in here, but it's no joke, but it can happen. So I let my steak rest for a minute, so I'm about to take out these potatoes and we'll be ready to go. I mean, that skillet, just all the heat's trapped in there, it just gets so hot. And there are times when you can set off the alarm. So what can you do? This steak is well worth it. So those came out pretty good. You get a nice knife for eating when it's time to go. So that's my Daniel Plainview steak, potatoes, and whiskey. Have a good night, everybody. See you next time.